Hi, everybody. I'm Cindi, and welcome to our Heal, Empower, and Thrive session number 6. So we'll start out with this daily affirmation. This is a long one. I actually have this in a place in my home where I can see it every day, where I can just kind of look at it and be reminded and go ahead and say it out loud or to myself. But it goes like this, and you can see it too. God is my source of all supply and answers my every need. With joy, I release to the moment of this point in time. I'm a light that cannot be dimmed. Therefore, I'll bring that light wherever it's needed, whenever it's needed. I accept health, happiness, and security as my divine gifts. They're already mine and will continue to be mine from sources seen and unseen for all my days. I know that I will have all I need in every form, for I'm about my Creator's work. I'm a beautiful spirit with the courage to be. So be it.
So be it.
We all need a lot of courage today, don't we? But that's okay, because we've got it. So today we're going to wrap up. What I want to do is just go over some of the things that we've done real quickly. See if we have any questions, anything that needs to be discussed a little bit more, or practiced a little bit more, and then at least one new technique. Okay, so let's just kind of do this together, if you will. How do we exercise our hands? No. Bend back the fingers, bend back, yep. Bend them in. You can really feel the stretch. And if you got arthritis in your hands like I do, it really feels good. And why do we do this? Anybody?
Get the energy flowing.
Get the energy flowing. Oh, hi, I didn't see you. Nice to see you. Yep, we get the energy flowing and we get sensitized. We sensitize our hands a little bit more. So then when we're practicing healing, we can pick up on different clues. And we talked about that. It could be a feeling of cold, warmth, tingling, or whatever you happen to feel yourself. Keep a little journal. See what works for you. Okay. And then what is direct healing? How do we put our hands for direct healing? We just point it at something, right? So direct healing, you can, well, first of all, what do we do before we do any healing? Yep. Clean our hands, build the energy. And then direct healing, you can put it right at whatever you're healing. You can send energy. You can, if you're just sending energy to someone, it's a good way to do it if they can't tell you what's wrong. Okay, just doing this, man, I feel tingly. My fingers are tingly. The internet must need some kind of energy. Okay, good. So that's direct healing. What would parallel healing look like? Right, on either side of whatever you're healing. And then one of the techniques we learned for parallel healing was decongestant plus. And that was on the sides, on the front, and then top and bottom. And you hold each one for about a minute every time. Okay, we talked about that. And then let me get through this. We went over some of the techniques. One of the techniques that we learned was, can't remember what that name is for that one. It's not the pyramid. Oh, that's another thing we did. Mind-to-mind healing, where we, think about the other person and we send healing. We can do this in our mind. We can do it by proxy, having someone sitting in for the person that we're sending healing to. We can do it with a picture, and it's important to say the person's name. A name is a very powerful thing. as you know, I'm sure. So it's important when we're healing, especially if the person is not in the room with us, that we're saying the name, looking at a picture, if that's possible.
Boy, Cindy, thank you for that reminder. That's something that I'd forgotten, and that's really important. You have a group healing and you forget to name the person who it's for. Yeah, thank you.
Sure, absolutely. It's like in our the healing email that Saul does, we name people, and that's part of the reason why.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
Cindi, I also remember like you can use a teddy bear or
sure,
something as the proxy, something physical,
you
and
can.
just, focus on the person and say their name.
You certainly can. You can use a doll, a teddy bear. I think if you're going to do this all the time, buy a mannequin. Which I thought was always a good substitute for children, and they don't talk back. They don't grow out of clothes. You can tell
I
I'm
usually
kidding.
use
What?
I usually use a knee, one of my knees, for the
Oh.
front side and the back side of a person. I
Ah.
always carry my knees with me, so it's a comfortable position if you're seated.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
great idea.
I've used just I've made an energetic person on my table. I had a healing buddy I used to work with. We do trades. And, we would lay each other out on our table. She's in California. I'm in New Jersey. And one day I was really tired and I didn't want to reach. She was really long. And I shrunk her down and worked on her, shrunk down. And I didn't tell her. And her first comment was, "What did you do? I felt like I was all closed up." It was pretty interesting. So it works.
Yeah, it does. I don't know why I get shocked every time it works, but it always works.
Yeah.
Okay. So we talked about sending energy, mind-to-mind distance healing, to protect yourself, to protect your energy. You remember how we do that? Form 2 circles and put them by your abdomen. And that will help protect your energy. That's telling people you can have all the energy from my top chakras. They're very shareable. But the bottom 3 chakras are mine. That's my personal energy. You can't have that.
Oh.
And if you can't do that with your fingers, you can put your tongue on the roof of your mouth. That way you can't talk. So if you're in a meeting, you can't get in any trouble. And you're protecting yourself at the same time. Okay. Then we also talked about the zapper. That's the one that I was thinking of that I couldn't remember the name for. You can do this filling somebody with energy. It's a generalized healing. It's great if a person can't tell you for themselves what they need. Maybe they don't know. Maybe you just want to send it. But the zapper is real easy to do. You just put your hands over the other and you form a cup, kind of in the middle. And you put it over someone's head. Make sure they're sitting down because this can lower your blood pressure, or lying down. And you send them energy like that. Okay. Or she build and break the energy. Then if you want more, a more intense kind of healing, you do the same thing, but you cross your thumbs, right thumb over left. And that's giving that extra push of energy. That's giving an extra whomp right over your head. You got that push behind it.
So, Cindi, if you actually want to lower your blood pressure, is this the technique to use, or is there another technique?
I suppose you could, but it lowers it, like it can lower it up to 6 points. So it would be kind of drastic.
How about 40 points?
Go see your doctor. He or she can lower it, trust me. That's really, I didn't see anything where Julian actually recommended that for lowering blood pressure. So I wouldn't, I don't think, unless maybe it was in a real emergency kind of situation, you could try it. But again,
Okay,
make sure that you're sitting or lying down.
gotcha.
Okay. So when you're doing the pyramid and you've got your thumbs crossed, right over left, you follow that up with 2 fingers at the crown of your head in a clockwise and then counterclockwise way. Then finish with another application of the pyramid with your thumbs crossed, and then break the energy. So the zapper is for sending instant energy. It's without the thumbs crossed, and the pyramid is for really intensifying it with the thumbs crossed. The first thing we did was the sunflower. And it's just visualize yourself like a sunflower and fill up with energy. And we can say a prayer for Ukraine while we're thinking of sunflowers. Raise your hands up over your head, spread your fingers, and pull in the energy. Oh, you can just feel it. It feels so good. You let the universal energy fill you up, sense it coming in through the top of your head, into your arms and fingertips, all the way down your legs and into your toes. And just feel yourself with soothing, light energy. This gives you all the energy you need for whatever it is that you need to do. And then you break that energy. Good deal, guys. Okay, we did decongestant plus. And so the next thing I want to talk about is something called the eye refresher. One of the things that we talked about earlier was the caution not to use fingers to point at your eye or inside your ear, because it's like a laser and it can hurt something. So the eye refresher is a technique that revitalizes your eyes when they're feeling strained, and it also works well if you wear contact lenses, so it doesn't matter. When working in this area, use only the flat pads of your fingers, okay? So we build the energy. Make sure we build the energy. You ask the recipient to close their eyes, and your hands are used with palms straight, fingers together. Okay. This creates a broad spreading of energy rather than intensified energy. You could also use the flat pad of 2 fingers of each hand. Okay. So you can either go like that, keeping your fingers together, or looks like I'm doing the Boy Scout promise, 2 fingers on each hand using the pads of the fingers. Okay. Without touching the eye, very slowly circle around the eyes. Use your right hand for your right eye and your left hand for your left eye. Okay. You can do this standing in back of the recipient if you're doing it for someone else, if it's more comfortable. So very slowly circle around the eyes. Okay. And then the other eye.
Do you need to change directions?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't
As long as
matter.
you're doing right for the right eye and left for the left
Okay.
eye. You can even do both at once if you're coordinated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then break the energy and let the eyes rest for at least 1 full minute. Then you can build the energy, repeat the process, but reverse the direction. I'm not going to do it now because it hasn't been a minute.
Wax on, wax off, right?
Yeah, wax on, wax off. That's a good way to do it. And remember to do it very slowly, and you don't touch the eyes. Okay. Then last week, we also talked about joint pain, and what we did, like on the knee, we would put a thumb on each side of the knee. Right, there you got it. And go around about 5 times. And then we stop and we go back around the other way about 5 times. And of course, I shouldn't be doing this without building and breaking the energy. That's a bad habit. Okay, let's do this over again. Forget I said anything. First, we're going to build the energy. Feel that tingling. And then you would put like a thumb on each side of a knee or elbow or whatever. Go around 5 times. And then reverse it 5 times. And then break the energy. Do the other knee or elbow or whatever you need to do. That's also a good one. Okay. So what I'd like to do today is just kind of go over some good points to remember, some good things to know, and some questions that a lot of us have. Okay, so Mahatma Gandhi said, and I didn't know him personally, but he's a pretty neat guy. Watch your thoughts. They become words. Watch your words because they become actions. Watch your actions as they become habits, and watch your habits because they become your character. Watch your character, it becomes your destiny. So it's just keeping an eye on yourself, making sure that you are responding and relating the way you want to in this world. Okay. So the first thing we want to talk about is, does this stuff work? Is it really working? What if I don't feel anything? What if the person I'm working with doesn't feel anything? We can't always get instant results, and we're working with energy. Some conditions take time to heal. Sometimes conditions are a learning experience for us too, as we all know. And so we have to work through and learn through whatever illness we're also tackling at the time. Healing, like prescription medicine, isn't instantly effective. The cells have to be given time to revitalize. And in healing, we're treating the etheric parts of the person that, if corrected, will help cure the physical. We're sending energy. We're trying to reprogram energy that is causing disease to making it normal and flow well within the body. Sometimes discomfort and seemingly negative reactions can occur. Imagine if you walked bent over your whole life and suddenly you're walking upright. You probably feel some pain, right? The muscles have been used to going a certain way and they haven't been stretched before. So the correction of any condition, there's often some discomfort at first. When a cell is atrophied, can't move, maybe, it can't function like it's supposed to, there's often pain along with the healing. Have you ever been to physical therapy? The bane of some people's existence. I used to work in senior care. Oh my God, they hated it. It's torture because it hurts. We talked a little bit last week about some caution before touching another person. Make sure that it is legal in your state to have hands on someone. If you're doing this for someone you don't know, always ask. But this healing is, if you can send healing across the world, then you can send healing to a person without putting hands on. You can go right over the body also. It's important to let the recipient know that energy healing is not a substitute for medical or psychological diagnosis or treatment. That's got to be first and foremost. We do not diagnose conditions and we don't perform medical treatments. We don't prescribe substances or interfere with the treatment of licensed medical professionals. It's recommended, always recommend, that your clients see a licensed physician or licensed healthcare professional for any physical or psychological ailment they may have. We can certainly add a lot. We can certainly be complementary medicine. And I think coming at it from traditional Western medicine and putting the energy work into it, it's just what needs to happen. It's a holistic look at the person. last week, something we did was, and then I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, last week, something we did was we talked about some affirmations for healing. What maybe we need to do before we start on a healing. And we shared an affirmation. And there are a lot of them. They don't have to be long. It just puts you in the right mood for healing and in the right space. I am a divine channel with divine energy. It will flow through me to the recipient. Something as simple as that. Asking for the most beneficent outcome for everyone involved. And when you're healing, know that there are healers with you. You're not alone. Those from the other side really want to help and support you. And you can ask for their help. I know when I was taking a tarot class, the instructor said, you can ask for a tarot guide. Ask for someone to help, someone who can kind of guide you along the way. And you can do the same thing with healing. One time when I was first starting this, my uncle was a doctor, and Camille actually said, "Oh, my dad's here. Uncle L's here." And so I always have Uncle L there with me when I'm doing healing, because I don't know, it just feels like he's there, and he was there from the beginning. So I think he's helping support this journey too. Let's see.
Hey, Cindi, can I share something that happened with my mom in healing? We talk about it, we don't really need proof of healing, and we don't. But this really struck me. When my mother was 85, she ended up having a psychiatric breakdown. She lived in Florida. The rest of us lived out of state. And so my sister and I had to go down, unbelievable, and put her in a senior center psychiatric ward. So Joni and I went, and I saw the room my mother was in, and it was stark, and there was a metal sink shaped out of the wall, and her bed was a single bed with a white sheet and a light up above it. Well, then Joni and I had to go back to Michigan, and mom had to be there for 30 days. And for some reason, every night I'd wake up at 3 a.m. every night. I'd raise the energy, I'd direct it to my mom, and I saw this spotlight where the light was over her bed, and I just shined it right over her, and I held it for about 30 seconds to a minute. Cleanse the energy, went back to bed. Did it for 30 days. 30 days she comes home, but of course she can no longer live in Florida. She moved to Michigan, and I saw her, the kids, my sisters brought her home, and I saw her Thanksgiving. And my mother was, for many reasons, did not believe in God. Okay. So for whatever reason. And so when I saw her, she said, "Thank you for sending me the light." Well, I use that expression all the time. And I said, "You're welcome, Mom. I'm just glad you're home and safe." She said, "No, really, thank you for sending me the light." And I said, "Great. You're here, you're safe." She dragged me, took me into the living room, sat me down, and she said, "You listen to me. That cone of light you sent me every night was the only thing that kept me alive."
Wow.
Isn't that interesting? And think about that. She had a psychiatric breakdown, so she was able to see a little bit beyond the veil. I just thought that was
Wow.
unbelievable. I wanted to share that because it was proof to me. I never told her I did that.
Yeah. It's like when I was doing a treatment on my son one time, and I finished, it was a Reiki thing, and I finished by sealing in the energy on the bottom of his feet, and he's laying down with his head on the other side, obviously with his eyes closed, and he said, "Why are you making circles on my feet?" How did you know I was doing that? But yeah. And then one time, before you were going into the hospital, I sent you healing, and I really feel like that helped also.
Absolutely.
No nodes involved and anything like that. I think it really helped.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, even if it seems magical or whatever, it really is something you can use in your daily life. Something you can use, like what were we talking about to help get a person to sleep? Which could include you if you're having trouble going to sleep. Remember, we were talking about different things like the zapper without you can hold that over your head and help yourself get to sleep, or help someone else just calm down.
And the deruffling.
Yes, that's what I was wanting to do. What is it called? Unruffling or
Unruffling,
deruffling?
yes.
Yeah. And that's where you take, you go from the top of the head, again, if someone's sitting down or lying down. If not, you just go from the neck. But you go from the top of the head, like to the waist, and you go and you flip out the bad energy. You do it from the front and the sides and the back, around the top. And then you do it around the bottom, like from the waist down. And you just run it down and flip it out. Like you're putting that old energy or the bad energy to be vaporized by the universe. And you do it 3 times on the top, front, side, back, 3 times on the bottom, front, side, back.
Cindy, I was going to tell you, every day that I can at 11 o'clock, I sit down and do a healing to the world, to what's happening. And I've used so many of the things that you've talked about. And I think it really, you don't have to think specifically or direct people to certain ways of believing or living, but I think it's a very important thing when all of us are doing it. And there are people all over the world that do it 11 o'clock. Well, it's the same time. You have to change for time things and stuff. But Pam Gregory, who is on,
I know her.
Oh yeah, she's the one that set it up, and it's nothing that you have to, turn in for or anything. But it's really helped me to visualize and understand what kinds of ways I can affect things.
That's wonderful. That is a wonderful way to use that, Becky. And I know that some people go to the healing list that Saul puts out every day, and they do the same thing. They direct energy to everyone on the healing list.
Right.
Another way that you can use it. But I do like that. And you know what? Sending love and compassion to everyone, because what you send out there is what you want to get back, right? So if we're sending out, I can't stand this person, I wish this person would go away, we're just going to get more of the hate and more of the displeasure. So if we can send love and compassion to everyone that in the world, especially those who may need it more, especially those who are unlikable, or that you may find unlikable, sending good to them only helps bring good back to the world. It's hard. But I really think it's the way to go.
Cindy just had this idea. Don't know. I'm wondering if it would work. Could we do unruffling for the world?
Sure, we could.
Sure, just unruffling energy.
Nobody said we couldn't.
Yeah,
Let's
well,
do it.
Yeah.
Was just wondering how it would work, but I was just thinking, given today's energies and everything, a nice unruffling to as many people who will handle it, might be a good thing.
Let's do that. Let's do that. Okay. So let's visualize. What should we visualize? The world, people on it. Visualize one person to represent everyone in the world, or whoever you would like. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to build the energy. Okay. And from the top of the head on this person, what we're going to do is we're going to unruffle and flip out into the universe to be vaporized negativity, hate, and what else?
Fear.
And fear. Good. Okay. All negativity, hate, and fear is being eradicated. All right. So from the top, flip it out. sides, flip it out. And from the back, as far as you can go, and flip it out. Good. Now break the energy and build the energy. And let's get the bottom half of the world, the southern hemisphere. Okay, so from the front all the way down and flip it out. The sides, flip it out. And then the back. Let's flip that out. Oh, I like that. And then break the energy. We're good stewards of the energy. I like that. Very nice. You could do that. You could do that every day with Pam Gregory at 11 o'clock. Pam Gregory is, if you don't know her, she's on YouTube. I'm a YouTube fanatic.
Yeah.
And she's an astrologer. She's really good.
Very good.
British lady. Yeah, we have so many talented astrologers here too in our group. So that's really about all that I have for today. But Jan and I wanted to discuss some ideas that we had, unless anybody has any questions. You know what I love about this group? Everybody got so comfortable and just joined in and was, started telling us how this works and how that works. And that's what I really wanted. I was hoping for this group, because it's nice. We find friends and we find people who are like-minded and enjoy healing and wanting to learn more and more about it. So, Jan, do you want to kind of go with that?
We kind of had a couple different ideas. The first idea was this group was so wonderful and we shared so well. We thought, what if we had a once a month healers group where we met and we talked about our own healing techniques, how things are going, what we're finding is working and not working with the changing energies. That sort of the thing, just sort of it'd be like a knitting bee, only it's a healing bee.
Using our hands, totally different. I like that. We could do something special, a special healing every month for the world.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that was one idea. The other idea Cindi came up with, which I thought was great, which was to go through the different workshops that Julian had about healing. I think there's healing of sound, healing with colors. There's a bunch of different workshops with healing, and go through those workshops, one by one, so that we pick up on all the sort of the Julian techniques for healing, not just what's in the book.
And there's so much. It's like limited only by your imagination. Yeah. Everything in the world is out here for us to experiment with and try healing in different techniques in different ways. I love that unruffling for the world. We're unruffling the world.
So anyway, so the idea was, how do you guys feel about that? And do you like either of those ideas, both of them? How would you like to do it? How much participation? Harold, thumbs up.
Harold, the eyes smile right away.
So how many people would participate, like in a once a month sort of healing class where we just share ideas and stuff? It sounds like the people. How many? Great. Boy, Cindi, you got a good response on that one. And then the other one is, how many people would like to start to go through sort of all the Julian healing techniques of different kinds? Does that interest people?
Okay.
Well, good.
I think everyone really wants
it. Hands.
Yeah. So it sounds like Cindi, you've got some interesting things to think about and how to do it, and we'll just make sure we get back to all of you.
Absolutely.
To figure out how to do it.
Maybe we'll take the summer off, and like at the end of August, starting in September, we'll have something ready to go.
Or yeah. So
I'll just comment that I feel very lit up when you describe the opportunity of revisiting Julian's material on the different healing modes, through time.
That should be fun.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I think that, one of the things that keeps on being pointed out to me is, even though everything Julian taught us is still good, the energies have changed, so the modalities have changed slightly in the last 20, 30 years. And re-experiencing them, we figure out how those energy changes have made. So it'd be good to re-experience them.
It
And
would be. And the
so
energy is totally different than when Julian was here. I mean, it's ramped up big time.
the
And I
communi-
think it keeps the teachings alive. It brings them up to date with
Yeah,
the
yeah, let's use it for us.
Revisit on a new level of the spiral.
Yes.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Cool.
exactly. Okay, we'll make sure that this happens.
Awesome.
And Jan, thank you so much. Thank you to everybody who's here, who's been coming. And thank you very, very much to Jan for being the world's best moderator. And
Yeah,
being here on
absolutely.
Easter and everything. Really, it's just been a pleasure
Yeah.
working with you. I can't wait to do more.
Thank you. Great.
I have a question. Cindy, how can I reach you by email or WhatsApp or something like that? Because I didn't prepare for tonight because I just came back from holiday.
Nice.
But I want to share a picture of a diagram, and maybe I'll make a short video of a very strong earthing technique I've learned
Wonderful.
that has to do with the soles of the feet and really anchoring the energy in. And yeah, I want to share that with a lot of people that are Frank's and Gmail.
Yeah, so I
Great.
just
That
put
would be
Cindy's
nice. Yeah.
email in the chat for anybody who needs it. Hopefully
Yeah,
that's
wonderful.
okay, Cindy.
Oh, no, that's fine.
And
Frank.Cindy, Cindi at Gmail.
yeah, I'll even think about, we could, if we wanted to start a healers WhatsApp group or a little list where we can exchange
Be
things.
cool.
So let me
I don't know what that is, but it sounds exciting.
Well, the
Yeah.
folks from Europe can communicate easily with WhatsApp. It's
Nice.
kind of a messaging system.
I've heard
And
of it, but I've
so-
never used it.
Yeah, it's easy to use and it pulls everybody in at wherever they're at.
Yeah, there's a bunch of
I
different.
personally prefer Telegram, but that's
Morse code.
no. Well, Telegram is a same type of
Yeah.
application.
It's an app.
Only it's more secure and
Oh,
but not WhatsApp is more commonly used.
I see.
Also in America and the rest of the world, practically everybody knows what WhatsApp is, and Telegram is more for the nerdy people.
Yeah, well, Telegram hasn't been bought by one of the big tech companies yet, so.
Right.
No, and it's completely, it's very well. It was a project of a Russian guy, and when the Kremlin wanted access, he said, "No, nobody gets access. I'll put this out free to the world, and it's completely um, safe, and it's open source." And that also means that there are a lot of functions you can pull into a chat, like, for instance, a bot that checks, well, are you on the allowed list or something like that. It has a lot of extra functions, but it might be a bit, it's another app on your phone or on your computer. So WhatsApp is fine by me.
Okay.
We'll figure it out one way or another.
Yeah, we'll look into it and see what would work best for everyone. But thank you, Harold. That was a good idea, good information.
Camille has another one coming up in another week, right, Camille?
Saturdays, Denise and I. Yeah.
Denise.
So that's
I know the first one you both did was wonderful.
Thank you.
Really
Well,
got a
are they-
lot from
Thank you
that.
for doing this, and Jan too. Thank you both so much. This has been really wonderful. I've missed a couple, but I've been able to catch the videos. So
Me too.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah.
I know
Is this-
Robin was here one day. I was shocked.
Yeah. And Andrea sends her love. She is in the process of driving down into California, so
That's right,
she
yeah,
couldn't attend today.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much. We'll keep in touch. Have a wonderful spring. Stay dry, stay happy and healthy, and we'll talk to y'all soon.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Cindy.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.